We all love competition in the marketplace. EA Sports is still the only company on earth that's allowed to publish an officially licensed NFL video game, which is one of, if not the, most grave injustice in the world right now. Many of us are rightfully unsatisfied, and thus, I must seek out alternatives, leading me to this game, Axis Football 2024. It was $20, so I decided my family could go another night without food, and I pulled the trigger. Let's hope it's good. I load up Axis Football, and the first thing I'm going to do is start a new franchise with the Denver Mountaineers. No, we're not the Broncos. We're basically the Walmart version of the Broncos. Wait, no, that doesn't work either, does it?
Go fuck yourself.
Our first game is against Miami, so obviously my objective is to give up less than 70 points. Unfortunately, you can only change the quarter length by increments of 5 minutes, so I'm going to play 10-minute quarters and pray to God I can make it through this without jumping out my office window. I'm only in the second floor, as you can see here, but still, it would probably hurt pretty bad. The crowd is empty, as are the sidelines. I noticed quickly that Axis Football uses the same announcer as NFL 2K5, but with a minor alteration to his name.
I'm Dave Stevens. By my side is football analyst Mike Steele.
And Stevens here to call the play-by-play. With me, as always, is Peter O'Keefe.
I can only assume this was done for dubious copyright reasons, but it was confusing nonetheless.
Dave, as we both walked up to the booth, it's palatable in here. Not just the players and the coaches, but also the fans, the trainers, heck, the concessions guy gave me extra nachos. Everyone's amped for this game.
Absolutely, Mike. I don't think anyone would be surprised by that. Well, let's get right to the action.
Look how they massacred my boy.
I get a quick sack with M. Wallace, who I can only assume is Marcellus Wallace from Pulp Fiction, and I force a quick 3 and out. I almost botched the punt return from N. Adams, but end up with a pretty nice return nonetheless. On my second play, N. Adams takes a handoff and rolls down the sideline for my first ever touchdown. I go for an extra point, and I know this is Denver, so we're at altitude, but good lord did he crush this ball. My god, man. That ball had a family. On the ensuing drive, Miami's knockoff Christian McCaffrey absolutely bulldozes through our defense for a gain of 15, but a couple plays later I knock him back for a loss of 5, despite being the last person to get off the line. On third down, Miami is flagged for a false start. I didn't see anyone move a muscle, but I'll just take the ref's word for it. Not that I see any refs on the field. I boot out and run with my quarterback, and it's honestly a miracle that his ACL is still intact after this hit. I go for it on fourth down, channeling my inner Brandon Staley, but Miami is there to stop us. Kmart McCaffrey rips off another big run, and our pass rush leaves something to be desired as Yelverton has all day, and he jaunts to the end zone for a touchdown. Miami blasts an extra point of their own, and I'm struck by this chosen sign in the end zone. It feels vaguely Mormon, if not Scientologist.
Now why would you do that? Why would you do that?
To be perfectly honest, the way Dan Stevens is talking in this game reminds me of the way South Park pieced together the lines for Chef after Isaac Hayes left the show.
Cohen makes the sack. The offense will lose about 10. That will bring up second down.
Come on, children. Let's all go home and make love.
Dan, if Axis Football is keeping you hostage and making you record these lines, blink twice. Okay, I guess we're good. It's 3rd and 21, and I wisely throw 19 yards short of the stick. Sticks. Fuck it. Whatever, I'm not re-recording it.
We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live.
There's not even sticks anyway, so shut up. I'm pretty much unwilling to learn from past failures, and I failed to convert on 4th and 19. But at least I flipped field position to the 23-yard line.
Boy, Dave, you talk about a bullet pass. That ball could have been pulled over mid-flight. Do you know how fast you were going there, son?
Damn, bro. You got the whole squad laughing.
I appreciate the commentators noting the velocity of my pass, not that I turned the ball over. But I get it right back with an INT. This isn't quite the ball security that I want to see from my fullback, but we pick up the first down anyway. However, following a penalty, we're forced to punt the ball back to Miami. Psych, I'm going to kick a field goal and see how far he can really boot this thing in the thin air. And it turns out 81 yards might be a little bit out of my range. Duly noted. McCaffrey shakes off a tackler and picks up a gain of 26 before bouncing it outside and scoring a touchdown to give Miami a 14-7 lead. I feel like he's earned enough respect at this point for me to call him by his real name, which according to this is Sincere McCormick, which of course implies the existence of disingenuous or facetious McCormick. That name sounded familiar, so I looked it up and found that there was indeed a running back named Sincere McCormick who played for the Raiders. Wow, isn't this just a spitting image? They probably used the face scan for this one. On the ensuing kickoff, Adams finds the edge and is nearly able to bust it for a score, but we pick up a first down on a crossing route to the wide receiver a play later, before I learned the hard way that LT is in fact the slide button. We're able to get a first down thanks to defensive holding, and our fullback comes up huge with a big catch and run for a touchdown, knotting up the score at 14 apiece before halftime.
But wait! There's more!
We're able to pick off another pass from Yelverton and work into much more manageable field goal range, taking the lead before intermission. And now for the break, let me introduce our halftime performer, Steve Harvey.
Sometimes when you pull the sheets back and you just lay in there and the skin and them circles and look.
That was Steve Harvey, everybody. I can't get anything going to start the second half, so I settle for a 67-yard field goal that my noodle-legged kicker weakly feathers short of the uprights. It turns out that might have been a poor decision, because on the very next play, McCormick takes a handoff and races down the sideline, tiptoeing for the last 15 yards, and finally getting into the end zone. We're facing 3rd and 22, and disaster nearly strikes when Martin is sacked, but God bless our fullback for cleaning up the mess. I opt against trying a 117-yard field goal and instead punt the ball back to Miami, which McCormick returns inside our 35-yard line. McCormick sidesteps a defender and nearly converts on 3rd and 15, but Miami tacks on a field goal and pushes their lead to a touchdown. There's plenty of time for our offense to respond, and you know what? I'll just let Dan Stevens take over on this incredible call.
What happens next?
He takes the ball. And he steps out. Good enough for a first down.
Dan, you deserve better. This is sad. This is like when Bruce Willis was doing all those geezer teasers. It's time to keep leaning on my run game, and after Adams moves the chains, which have magically reappeared, Kirkland brand Mike Allstott finds pay dirt and ties the game up at 24. We're now in the 4th quarter, and we're oh so close to a massive turnover, if not for rapper J. Cole picking up the loose ball. We finally turn away Miami on 4th down, and McNellis gets loose on a vicious stiff arm for 28 yards. That sets up Adams on the outside, and he's got a free lane to the end zone as we wrestle back the lead. We hold Miami on the next possession, but their assassin of a punter leaves the ball in the coffin corner, and we're millimeters away from a safety on the very next play. Miami gets the ball back, and let's listen to the call.
It takes time for the receivers to get to the first down marker, and by then, the QB is under pressure and forced to make a
touchdown!
Miami ties it at 31, but we get a great start to the next drive thanks to a gargantuan return from N. Adams. We almost blow that opportunity, but the defender drops a would-be interception. And then they do it again. This is like having an entire defense of Asante Samuels. Instead of throwing another PFF turnover-worthy pass on 3rd down, I let Adams do it himself, and he moves those chains. Chains. Where are the chains? Adams bruises through the defense once again, but we're stonewalled on 3rd down, and we kick a field goal to take the lead with just 40 seconds remaining. This probably should have been a dramatic moment, but I think this might be the easiest kicking mechanic I've ever used in a football game. You just kind of point the arrow and wait for the meter to fill up before snapping the ball. All we need is a stop to win the game, and not to be outdone, we drop an interception of our own. To make matters worse, on 3rd and 10 we get cooked by a wide receiver who's wearing number 75 for some reason. I know this game is from an independent studio, but it's just frustrating when you can't get the little things right.
Touchdown!
Miami really took the lead with 12 seconds left, and now it's desperation time for us. And after one failed heave, we're down to our final play. The receiver breaks free, but he's caught from behind. Alright, now that this game is over and I've predictably lost, I want to give a sincere review of this game. First of all, you probably have to temper your expectations given that we're talking about an indie game that took a lot of blood, sweat, and tears to make, and that only cost me $20. This game is definitely rough around the edges from presentation to graphics to the gameplay itself, but I didn't hate it. It's certainly a work in progress that could be interesting to check in on in a couple years. From all I've read, the customization and the franchise mode in this game, they really offer a lot, and with Madden severely lacking in these departments, this game might scratch that itch for you. So unless you've got 20 big ones burning a hole in your pocket, I wouldn't necessarily implore you to buy this game right now, but I think you can have some fun with it if it's on sale. I really admire the work of any developers willing to pour their efforts into a small budget football game these days. And even if it's not a runaway success right now, I think we should celebrate the underdogs.
Touchdown! Touchdown!